Testing. Testing, testing. Yep, time to do some work. Work. I'm working on JavaScript stuff, picking up from last night. Um, just need to get the environment going. So let me just share my screen over here and see where I left off. According to my continuity log, yesterday, the last thing I did last night was to expand the display list data structure to add a few more properties. Once I get that going, then I can think of what the next state is. So anyway, up here, this is like where I'll be running my tests. Let's get a couple screens over here on the side. There, and on this screen, let me get my text editor up. It's a little JavaScript stuff I'm doing today. Let me pull up source tree. I'm big in that. And over here, I need to pull up a terminal window and start the build going. Let me move this over to this side. Shrink that down a bit. cd dev. I think this chair is syncing. cd dev, cd play, cd build. Gulp. This will run the build system. I should probably disable the linting. It doesn't really need to be happening. It just slows things down. Let me do that. Just make sure I don't commit it. So gulp file. So we take that out of build. Build. This we don't need to do right now. And let me just confirm that that's not crashing anything. I should skip linting. I'm doing the linting inside of Sublime Text, so it's not entirely gone. I'll re-enable it. I'll make sure I just don't check that in. Alrighty, what am I working on? What I'm going to need to use is a piece of paper to keep track of my focus. I just find that writing down what I'm doing helps me remember what I was doing from one moment to the next. And see, I already forgot. All right, we expanded display list. Looking down here. We expanded display list. So we need to read viewport and cameras. So I'm making a list here. And the cat just made a terrible smell. Ugh. Oh, good Lord. Look at... I'm just running it down here. Look at display data dot viewport and dot cameras. Viewport is probably the easiest one to do. Let's start with that one. So viewport. Might as well start running it over here. Let me go and over here on the PC side of things, zoop. This probably isn't going to be easy to look at. Not sure how visible that is. Anyway, on the left side, we are running a display server. And on the right side, we will be running a renderer. Or rather, the thing that's copying it. Oh, it's not running. Did I break it? Probably not. Oh, there's no message handler. You can see over here on the terminal window, my code is warning me that there's no handler registered for display list, which means I need to update display server and close this other stuff for now. I don't need pull. Might need that later. Actually, I don't need this. It's a little bigger. So my display server is using the wrong message because I just changed it to display change, I believe. Save that, rerun it. No, it's still not working. No, display data. Because it's all coming in on the same message now. And it's not doing anything here. How come it's not drawing? Oh, it's because zero length display. I should write some code to check for that. If capture or render receives data, I think I wrote something here that display data or throw. I wonder if I can do this. Console log. No, that will be bad. If not, display list. Console warn. Zero length display list. If display list ends up being undefined, okay, that should end up being either a zero length okay, zero length display list. This is in display list. Render. What I'm doing is just making sure that I have some decent error reporting in here. So you need display data probably isn't grabbing the, well, actually maybe it is. It shouldn't be getting a zero length list here. What is in display list data? Yeah, it's called list. That shouldn't be called list. This should be called, capture should be putting it into something called visuals. Why is it not returning visuals? So go to vlist, unless vlist is not being saved properly. vlist unhandled, visuals, viz type. Let's do some debugging here. Display data on this side of things. We're getting, here we're seeing a visual object. Here we're saying list.visuals. Oh, okay. That's what's going on. Where is list being created? Capture vlist display data is this. Where am I seeing list? I'm not seeing it anywhere. Am I passing it down this way? Get log. Oh, this is render. I report visuals. How come camera isn't in here? Here I have display data out of line 88. And it's corrupted. It should be object visuals. I should see the camera data structure too. Why am I not getting it? Oh, but that's because it only gets sent once. That's why. That's only a single sample. But why is it being constructed this way? Render is being called by display client, and it is just passing it right along. This watch thing is... How is that being screwed up? It looks like it's happening on the server side of things. But let's make sure this is being packaged correctly. Oh, this is what's going on. Duh. This should just be... That's right. I was testing this with the particle game before, not this code. So I didn't update this yesterday. Alright, so that should fix that. Or not. What are we missing? Missing something out of the argument list? Oh. That should fix it. Good. Alright, let's see if particles is working. Particles should also mirror a different set of things. Good. And so it's still running in the background if I go here, but if I run the display server and restarts, then the mirror should be working correctly. Alright, so that's promising. So I would say I spent the first 15 minutes of this yeah. Just seeing what my friend Dom is saying. He's looking at max MSP. It'd be nice to get into that. Let's see. Check over here. I should probably... So now that that's confirmed working, what was I doing again? Display data viewport. Okay, so I think what I need to do for that, my render function in my display list module should be smart enough to handle it. Right now I'm just jamming everything in here and trying to comment it well. I have some debug checks just to tell me if I got the data at all. And that's only going to happen. It should happen also in particles. Let's just do that there. Let's see. So it did get display data. Render height and render units. So okay, so let's work on that. So to get, we need to resize the WebGL. WebGL resize. And we also need to resize the cameras for the units. I guess world units doesn't make sense. No. Well, one thing at a time. One, resize the canvas and reinitialize the render without killing it. Secondly, handle the world units. The reason why the world units change is tricky is because that actually affects the cameras, but there's no camera stuff set here. So I'm not sure what the interaction is going to be there. our renderer is built on a JavaScript library called 3JS, which is pretty cool. But I wrote the renderer when I was learning how to do JavaScript in the browser. And so there's a lot of weird things in that. I've cleaned it up like 3 or 4 times, but I haven't really gone back and cleaned it up. So I can remember exactly how it works. There's one or two more passes I need to do to get it really good, really pristine. But I happen to know that there's a resize function that gets triggered. So, like if I pull up a browser here, and let's hit localhost, and what do I want to do? Well, let's look at particles. I can't. Oh, it shouldn't be letting me run both of them. Let me make a note of that. Particles. There's code that's supposed to prevent two instances of the same web app from running on the same network. But apparently, the particle game is so old, like when I ported it over, I probably forgot to add that feature. But anyway, so if I resize the browser window, it waits, so I can do this, and then it waits until I'm stopped moving, and then it resizes it. There's code that does that. And that is resizing the renderer. Or is it? I guess we'll find out. Let me go back to here, and let me turn this into a fake track instance. So now on the fake track side, there's still a lot of flickering going on. Oh, it's probably because that's still running in the background. There we go. And now I'll need to kill that for these other apps that don't. So I don't know if you can see here on the left side of things, we're getting, as I'm moving stuff on my screen over here, it's actually moving these particles around there. The mirror display doesn't have all the line drawing that the left side has, because this is the part I'm getting to work to draw the new visuals. So then this side will be able to work on an iPad. Actually, I better get the iPad to make sure that it's still working there too. Be right back. I'm just going upstairs. You should be able to hear me on the wireless mic. Going upstairs, going upstairs. Going upstairs. Oh, hey kitty. This is where you've been hiding. It's in my bedroom. I wonder if this is still picking up. I thought my iPad was up here. Maybe it's not. It's cold up here too. Where's the iPad? Dang it. I went all the way upstairs for nothing. I guess weird. I wonder where I put it. It's not there. So here. Huh, what did I do with it? Where are you, iPad? Is that it over there? No. No, I don't know where it is. Thought it was in my bedroom. Maybe the old iPad will work. If it's even charged. Alright. It's got 56. This is an old iPad 3, which is like, I think 1/10 the speed of current iPads. So, and unload. So I'm going to pull up Safari. We only officially support Chrome, but what's your IP address for this? I have a code that spits out the server address. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, weird, so it's working. So check this out. So over here on the right side, this is the mirror display. So the data from this is being shipped from this web app to this one. This is on the same PC, but I'm also shipping the data. Or I can do this. Will this show up? I'm also shipping the same data to this iPad that's running on a wireless network, so they should be moving the same. And that's important because the kids will be using iPads to do annotations about what they're seeing. So we need to ship the display as is. Originally, we tried using WebRTC video, but Safari iPads don't support, or there's no browsers currently on iOS that support WebRTC natively. Though, and also we need to be able to track the objects themselves as clickable objects. So we can't just ship regular video. Although the UCLA Remap team is working on some kind of solution to allow WebRTC video underlays in a custom app that they're developing. So I think we're supposed to see that sometime this month. So it'll be exciting to see. Anyway, so that's still working. That's a relief. Okay, back to what we're doing here. So I see some dead sprites over there. Yeah. Let me check something over here. So the next step, I need to look up how to do the resize. Now, where is that? I think the screen module is where I'm doing that, but I don't really remember. It would make sense because the screen module is what's controlling all these sidebar things, and it's kind of like a uncool way of doing it, I think, if you're a JavaScript developer. You know, I mean a real JavaScript developer who knows what's going on with stuff. I don't know what the new hotness is in JavaScript. I'm an old school developer. So I'm doing things like console style layouts in my code here. Let's see. There should be a event handler. Where am I going to be doing that? I'm going to guess it's something called resize. Resize according to screen mode. Refresh dimensions. There's 11 matches for that. Really? Screen refresh dimensions. Call this to resize the screen based on the screen mode and viewport mode. How do you scale? Some of this is old code from the old layouts. Get browser dimensions. 6 matches for that. Where am I doing the binding for this? Get layout, save out. So is there any subscribes? Where would I be hooking the browser resize? I don't know. Let me see if I can, let me just search the project. On resize, I think it's called. No? Is it called resize? Oops, let me try it again. It's somewhere on video element. That's not it. X renderer. I don't think it's this. This is deprecated. I know I'm using set interval code for this. Let me search for that. Set interval. This is not finding everything. Why is that? Let me search the entire project folder. Oh, it's because it's a 1401 module, not a step module. Wait for load assets, time step. Or maybe not. Extra garbage from libraries. How come I'm having some difficulty finding this? There should be. Where did I stick the browser resize stuff? Well, tell me if I resize it. If I pull up this and trace events, I'm guessing you'll tell me. If I can remember how to trace events. Global listeners. Event listener breakpoints. It's a window resize, I think. No. Document. Browser resize event. Resize. Am I using jQuery for this? On resize. I think I'm doing that. This is embarrassing. God, I can't type worth shit today. This is searching all the stupid modules. I want to actually go down one level and search from here, I think. There is no resize. How come I can't find this stupid thing? Close that, close this. Okay, let's just do some thinking. I should see some sort of subscription call using one of 3 possible ways of subscribing to the event. Refresh dimensions. I know there's an interval timer somewhere. Why is it in the screen module, though? This is where I thought I would have put it. Oh, wait. Resize timer. Window resize function. Set timeout. Resize the fit. Viewport set dimensions. This is the code I want. Update world cameras. Update viewport cameras. Is that all I need to do? So I have console scale to fit. This does some calculation. Scale to fit is actually doing something a little different. It's getting the dimensions of what's in the middle there. Sets the width using jQuery. Set fluid. That's maybe close to what I want it to do. Console resize the fit. So I guess these are approximately the same. Resize the fit. It's just getting from different places. Oh, this is like good browser images. A big pain in the butt. Alright, so what we should be able to do then is just set, I think we just do this. So let's just wedge this into our code here. In our render code, if we get display data viewport, we want to do something that's like this. Of course, none of these are defined. And theoretically, we're not allowed to call these, but JavaScript being what it is, do we have VP? Do we have the viewport? Where do we get access to the viewport? I guess I need to grab it out of XRenderer. Let's do this the ugly way. var vp equals x renderer viewport. Viewport, I think, is the call. And vp, vp. We don't have this, but we do have displayed data, and display data accordingly is, let me look at my GitHub wiki. Wiki. Your display list design doc says these are the so we should be able to get it from display data viewport. Viewport render width. Data viewport. Oops, render width. Var render height is equal to display data viewport. Render height. And then we should just be able to set dimensions. Viewport set dimensions RWRH. And update world cameras and update view cameras. I think there's a world unit call, or there should be. I'm not sure if I explicitly said it. The world unit calculation stuff is a little weird. I think I need to call size world to world units to see what this does. Sets the origin. This only happens once though. It resets it. I guess I do need to call that. Set dimensions, and then VP, or for all world units, so go display data, viewport, world units. Then we want to do VP size world to viewport. World units. Then we want to do all this update camera stuff. So, what is this actually going to do? I don't know. It might work. It might not. Let's see what happens. Crash, 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 crash. Oh. Well, it did something. So it did get the displayed data. What's all this stuff being printed out here? Where's this coming out? It's coming out Sprite.js. Let's rerun this. That's crapped out on me. Some sort of error is being generated. Hello. Did I kill it? Looks like that's odd. It's a little alarming. Let's see, display client. So here it's just displaying the defaults. If I refresh this, deletes the old entries, but then immediately goes boom like this. And then I think it starts throwing errors. Okay, it melted. So what I think is happening is the scale of the sprites. Oh, okay. If you change the resolution of the camera, that means all the sprite scales need to change too. I think that's what's going on. All right, so, but let's render. Let me just undo some of this other stuff here and just see what it does. So there I got the change. It did reset the dimensions. Let me change the client side too, so it doesn't use that layout mode. Display client. In fact, it's probably overriding it. So let me change display client so it doesn't actually use this. I need to use the old style renderer in it. This is the old style renderer in it. Who uses that? I don't think you even have an example of it anymore. So I had to pull it out of the screen. Or I could look at an old build, I suppose. Somewhere in here there's a renderer initialize. Config. We want to do something like this. It's weird. This used to have got world units. Alright, so we want to do something like this. Will this actually do what I think it does? Who's calling init default layout? Create layout. Attach ID as config ID. Let's make some notes here. Old style renderer in it. Renderer ID. Let me double check that the modules for this should be app shell. Oops. Container. This is all erased, I believe, if screen is called. So I just want to add it as a container, I think. Yeah. So in my display client, I want to do something like, instead of doing this, let's call this screen. Used to initialize a screen module based layout that can handle fluid, fixed, and scaled modes automatically. But we need to add something called net renderer. And this is my old school old style render visualization for client mirroring a particular div. Something like that. Or what is render ID? Let's find its screen. Render ID defaults to renderer, which we don't have here. Here we'll use a container. Var CFG is equal to attach ID. That's, was it, container? And then we need the rest of these things. Render width. How do we know what this is supposed to be? Let's make it 720 by 720. Or let's make it 720 by 300. Or by 360, just so I can see if it changes or not. Render units. Let's make that 720 for now. What do I need to do? A render initialize. Fig. I don't think that will work as is. Oops, X render initialize. At least it's going through signed states, but screen add button after init phase screen.js 581. Why is that even being called? Oh, because this is add buttons. Add test button, that's not going to work. Let's see. Var screen mode equal what should I call this? Hardware? Should call this I'll call it manual for now. No screen. This thing has some debug flags. Use screen. Here if use screen init screen else init renderer if use screen. Okay. Still getting craps. Render initializing is cross origin true to load. Okay. Keep forgetting to do that. Where is that? That should be cross origin true. And something's happening. At least it did resize the renderer. But the probably the displaylist module doesn't know where to draw it. Or the auto render isn't working. So after setting it up, I had to make sure that the render is running. Render auto renderer. That only happens if I'm using the screen module. So I need to do this manually. Oh wait. Where is this being called? Okay, so that's actually kind of doing what it's supposed to do. All the sprites are scaled though, as you can see. I'll make sure that this is init renderer, init screen. Alright. Let's move this up here. Test flags. Whether to use screen manager or not. So everything's fine there, and then boom, it resizes. That's supposed to happen. It would be nice if I told it what else to do. But we need to add some additional changes here. Let's not worry about the screen resize or the sprite problem yet. Let's see what this resize world to viewport thing does. Didn't do anything? And this probably shouldn't change anything either. In that case, it did screw stuff up. So here it just scales because the aspect has changed. So let's make a list of stuff. So the aspect, making a list here. So what I want to do is well, here's some questions. One, how to fix sprite aspect? Why is it drawing like that? If I refresh this, what happens? It's still screwed up. They've lost like some sprites entirely, it looks like. Oh, it's actually being, I can see the ice cube being drawn way down there in the middle. It's just really small. So there's some scaling issues that are happening. That's always a pain in the up to. That happens if we re-enable VP update world camera. That gets really big. What happens if we just update viewport cameras? Okay, so update viewport cameras. That makes, well, let's see what these actually do. Viewport. Update world cameras. According to this code, what am I doing? I'm setting updating projection matrices. It's getting the width and height of the viewport, and it's adjusting it by the world scale. I guess we need to look at each of these. Just so I remember what it does. Okay, I'm going to edit this in the other in my GitHub wiki. So in up here, this is where I'm doing the editing. You probably can't read it. So in my display list, I'm going to make some notes at the bottom of this. Notes. When updating the renderer, we're doing a viewport set dimensions, followed by update world cameras, then update viewport cameras. So let's review and see what set dimensions or size. No, this is I got the typed in wrong. It's size world to viewports. Oh wait, I was right. Set dimensions followed by viewport set dimensions. Followed by VP size world to viewport. All right, let's look at each of these functions. So find set dimensions. What does this do? It saves the width and height. Saves width, height. Saves aspect ratio, and also calculates and saves aspect ratio to aspect, world aspect. Why is this happening twice? That's weird. Calls WebGL set size, resizes containing canvas as well through CSS. So the container and the canvas containing div and canvas. And what is this? This was set dimensions. Width, height. Why does this think it's ActionScript? Plain text. Oh, sleepy. And then what happens in, that's the next, size world to viewport world units. This is pretty short. Save, it calculates and saves world origin, world up, saves calculates. That's weird. It recalculates world aspects. Recalculates world scale, world units, world aspect based on possible changed viewport dimensions. Viewport dimensions. Saves world units, resets origin, saves new scale, world aspect. After this, we have let's go one by one. Let's look at this again. So if we just do set dimensions, what happens here? Renderer is resized, but sprites are vertically scaled. Or let's see. Also stretched. So after we do also the big sprite in the middle is scaled very small still. Compared to the size it's supposed to be. So after we do this, so that's what it looks like now. What happens after it runs size world of viewport? Not much change. And according to my notes here, that just recalculates world, so it resets world origin, saves the world units, changes scale. These just change properties. They don't actually do anything. Still goofy. No visual change, since this just updates some variables without touching any of the renderer. Running object properties. Then after this, let's see what update world cameras does. Update. What does this do? It updates the projection of Cam 2D and Cam 3D based on the current width and height or dimensions of the viewport. Updates projection matrices for cameras. We're running in 2D mode here. It doesn't actually do anything. What? Actually, I think what this might do is, I might see a change there. I think this is what makes everything get big. Yes. After updating matrices, oh, the sprites get huge. Actually, they're the right size now. The big sprite in the middle is maybe the right size. I wonder if that's because... Nope. The one on the left is using world units. What happens when you update viewport cameras? Update viewport cameras. These are for world cameras. Updates the 2D cameras for the screen. Updates the 2D cameras for background screen view and screen overlay view. Updates projection matrices. So these are updating 2 cameras. Let's change the order of this. Or just let me insert one of these up here. Because I wonder if that will actually make the sprite change happen. I don't think it will. Oh, it did, actually. What is that? Oh, wait, no, that's not what's causing it. If I call update viewport cameras first, do we see anything interesting happening? So that's with that. I think the background scaled up. Yes. Background camera is fixed, so the background is no longer scaled. Should see something like this happen too. Oh, okay. So the big deal now is to figure out why that's drawing so large. It may have to do with the sprite system. It might be the world camera, which has changed. Oh, and also I haven't actually updated the camera structures yet. Or it also might be the sprites. Alright, so I'm going to take a quick break. I wrote down where I am. So it's 13:30. So I was 1 hour into this. The next thing to do would be to implement the camera transition. So I will do that now. I just need to take a walk or something because I have a massive headache now. So I'll be back in a little bit and continue this in part 2.